Everywhere she goes, Ouyang Haoyu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. And Haoyu, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
It's a mechanism pushes you to become a better citizen.
It's big data meets Big Brother, expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens. Thanks to advances in artificial intelligence and facial recognition, and a web of more than 200 million surveillance cameras.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good. We can accept it.
Companies are experimenting with the algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system. The government also has pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits. And scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Aini are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. A good deed, she says. Good social credit gets rewarded with perks like cheap loans and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame and worse. Huang Huijun lost a court case and didn't pay. Now he's on a government blacklist. I can't buy airplane or train tickets, he says, and the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids in top schools. The social credit system will go nationwide next year, and few here are willing to criticize it. Something that may pose a risk itself for a bad score and the life that comes with it. Janice Mackey-Frere, NBC News, Beijing.
Li Hua lives in a society where his every move is tracked and rated. Jaywalking? Not good. Littering? Lose 5 points. Playing your music too loud? Lose more points. Not taking care of your aging parents? You're in trouble, Li Hua. Your score is getting dangerously low, so you might not be able to buy a plane ticket or become a public servant. Our fictional character, Li Hua, lives in China, where an omnipresent social credit system has been introduced. According to numerous media reports outside China, starting this year, all of the country's 1.4 billion people are given a numerical ranking. From now on, they'll either gain or lose points according to their behavior, just like that episode in Black Mirror.
Sounds awesome.
That's the media hype. But does China really have a social credit system? If so, how accurate are all the media reports? And why aren't Chinese people protesting? The social credit system is not fictitious. China has been developing a nationwide social rating system since 2014. The main principles are set out in a government document called Planning Outline for the Construction of a Social Credit System 2014 to 2020. The core idea is relatively simple. Everyone gets an initial score and then earns or loses points depending on good or bad behavior. It's a bit like a financial credit score that rates your trustworthiness with money. Many countries have one, including the USA and Russia. Except China's social credit score expands the concept into almost every sphere of life. What that means is that everything our friend Li Hua does, from what he buys in an online supermarket to the people he interacts with and how he does it, it all counts. China has actually started to test its social credit system, but not nationally. Some cities have introduced their own pilot versions of social scoring. Rongchen City in Shandong Province is one of them. Every resident was given an initial 1,000 points. This document from city authorities sets out a scale of scores and how to earn or lose them. Earn more than 1,050 points and you're considered a model citizen with a AAA score. 1,000 makes you a AA, If your score falls to 900, you get a B. Then it's C for under 850 or D for falling under 600. City authorities collect data from government agencies, courts and police. If Li Hua lived in Rongcheng, he could contribute to the scheme and report someone else for bad behavior. He'd get 5 points for that. Or he might earn points for athletic achievement. For example, winning a prize in a city's sporting event can bring in anything from 2 to 5 points. If Li Hua donated bone marrow, he'd be awarded a whopping 50 points. In Rongcheng, people lose points for traffic violations, littering, ignoring financial obligations, or cheating in exams. In China, there are citizens and businesses that thought untrustworthy people should face certain restrictions. People who don't pay on time, for example. If Li Hua didn't pay his taxes in 2018, he could have been among the nearly 18 million Chinese debtors who couldn't buy a plane ticket. Another 5.5 million couldn't buy train tickets. According to a report by the Supreme People's Court of China, it made 3.5 million people voluntarily fulfill their legal obligations or pay their debts and taxes. Well, if a travel ban doesn't work, in some cases debtors are publicly named and shamed. Local governments, like in Shanghai or Shenzhen, sometimes resort to putting up photos of miscreants with their names, ID numbers and how much they owe on giant billboards in public places. Desperate times call for desperate measures. China loses more than 600 billion won, that's about $88 billion, every year in bad debts. Blacklists.
信用记录把它变成了一种资产，那这种资产对于具有良好信用记录的人来讲，那这个资产让我们在很多方面可以得到便利，特别是在涉及到和金融相关的一些，比如说贷款啊等等的方面。
Mr. Zheng Gang is a deputy director of China's first think tank, the National Laboratory for Finance and Development.
良好的信用记录是吧？那大家都去珍惜这种良好的信用记录的这样一个结果，它就能产生整个社会整体那么这个诚信水平提升的这样一个结果。